So without further ado, may we put our hands together to welcome Daryl, who is the co-founder of PMCE. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I think that was a really interesting poll. I think it gave me a lot of insights of what you guys actually think about solar.
Trigger the slides.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully today I can actually run through with you most of these questions that you guys actually polled with. So I'm going to give you guys some insights from a solar consultant. I've been in the industry for about 7 to 8 years now. I have my own team of about 3 sales consultants over here. I think at the end of the day, if I'm not able to answer a lot of your questions, you can actually approach them and get it from them itself. Okay, so I want to start off first by using a case study of a recent installation that we've done around the area. You guys were talking about how installation costs are about $20,000 to $25,000. So this is a $23,500 installation setup in Singapore. We actually installed 52 panels on the roof. What 52 panels can get you is actually about $5,000 a year in savings. So when we talk about the ROI on that, I think most of you are really interested in the investment part of a solar panel. We're actually looking at about 4.7 years on making back your initial investment. These are the bills actually for the house that I just showed. Oh, louder, yes. Okay, sorry. Speaking a bit too softly just now. So this is the bill for the house. So we actually installed his system in February this year. In December, he had no solar. You can see that the bill is actually about $453. And then in April, it dropped to about $21.31. This is the impact of solar quite visibly just after a few months. The one change that you will see when you look into the bills is not all the solar energy is going to be used, right? I think I saw on the poll, you guys think that solar energy cannot be sold back. That is not true. When you decide to go solar, a new export field will actually be included in your bills. It's this thing called export of electricity. As you can see over here, the breakdown of current charges, electricity services, export of electricity, and they do show the amount of electricity that's been exported. And when I say exported, it means whatever is not being used at home, your house is already powered by solar. Any excess from then on is actually sold back to the grid. And this grid prices will be listed down for you to see as well. So we can see at the end of the month from $453 down to $21, that's about $430 my client had in savings, which will amount to about $5,000 a year. But today, I don't really want to talk about the savings aspect, right? I want to dissect it a little bit more further. I want to teach you guys that if you guys decide to go solar, what is the best way to maximize the solar panels on your roof? How can we improve the already low ROI on your system even further? So this is just something that I came up with, and I think a lot of solar consultants will be using when we do our pitches to the homeowners itself. This is a breakdown of what the solar panels ultimately mean for you in terms of energy consumption, in terms of sellback. We can start off here, it's about 52 panels, just like the case study that I showed you guys. Each panels are rated at 455 watts for a system size of 23.66 kilowatt peak. This in a month would generate for you about 2,300 kilowatt hours. So this figure in your head, 2,300 kilowatt hours is for you to use every month. Now we need to bring in the consumption, what your home uses every month, which is what you used to pay for your electricity bill. For my client's house over here, he actually used only $1,155 every month. So his bill was about $296 for his monthly usage paid by SP tariff rate, so $296. Now, what we need to do is we need to separate this into 2 parts. One being the daytime, one being the nighttime. Reason being it's because during the day is only when solar generates, and solar cannot be stored unless you have a battery. It has to be immediately used, or if not, it'll be sold back to the grid for the excess credits. And as we all know, during the day, we don't really use a lot of electricity. A lot of us are out of the house. Nobody's at home. We just turn on the fan to cool down the house. The main bulk of this actually comes in at night. When people return home, people turn on the aircon, all your heavy loads are starting to take place at night. So we need to do a split. For a rule of thumb, we like to use 20-80 or sometimes even 30-70, which means 20% usage of your 1,155 during the day and the 70% or 80% of this at night. So for this, my client's actually only using 20-80, 20% during the day and 80% at night. For the 20% of the 1,155, he's looking at 211. So this is the 211 that we are going to tackle with using solar. The solar itself generates 2,300 kilowatt hours to offset the 211 that he has to use during the day. So this is where we talk about the excess energy being sold, because there's going to be too much energy produced from the solar panels themselves. This excess you can sell back to the grid at a specified tariff rate. So you will get a credit of $457. So this credit will store in your bills to offset your night, which is what we're going to tackle now. The other 80% at $854, so he has to pay $237 at night. But because he generated so much excess energy during the day, he's able to offset that and on top of that, get credits, which would then spill over into his water bills. So let me show you, let me show you the bills again. Yeah, so you can see here, he has an excess export, right? And this actually flows into his water bills. And then so on and so forth into his fuel waste, leaving him with only about $21 to pay at the end of the month. So it's a combined utility from $400 down all the way to $21 itself. So we were talking about how to maximize the potential of your PV system. How do you get more from your system? So instead of looking at this as a 20-80% split, what I want you guys to think about is, now that you guys are going to go solar, how do I save more? The only way that you guys can do that is to actually shift your lifestyle. Meaning, when the solar is being produced, use more of it during the day instead of selling back. Because when you sell back, you're actually losing value through the tariff rate itself. 75% of the tariff rate is your sell back. So you want to do stuff like do your washing during the day. You want to charge your EVs during the day. You want to turn on your aircon to cool down your house during the day as well, because aircon also takes up a lot of energy to reach its desired temperature. So you start that a bit earlier, start that when the sun is up, so that your usage ultimately is relying more during the day. So if you can see, just by a change of lifestyle to have 50-50% split, you can see that at the end of the month, he actually saved $536 instead of a $516. I know this is only a $20 difference, but when you compound it over the years to come, the lifespan of your solar system over 25 years, this can actually amount to quite a lot of money, just some slight changes in lifestyle. So I'm going to reiterate again, this is how a typical house consumption will look like, along with solar production. This line that cuts across the entire field, I think this line that cuts across the entire field, this is going to represent your consumption line, meaning your house appliances, your lighting, your aircon, everything is going to be by this red line. So you can see, as I said, people come home about 7 o'clock, people are going to turn on the aircon. So you can see there's a spike of usage here already. And then it starts to taper off when the house starts to cool down. And then it just falls to the night until the daytime people are out. So the main point where I'm driving at here is I want you guys to convert everything from the red side into the green. Because this green line over here is going to show your export. That's too much. Right? You guys are losing money exporting out. So if you guys are able to make that switch over to the green area, you guys will be saving a lot more as well. So if I were to calculate that into the ROI now, if you guys make a lifestyle change, that would shave your ROI from about 4.7 years to about 4.5 years. But that's not all. We still have one more thing to talk about on how do we cut down your ROI even further. So right now in the market, we have this thing called RECs, which is the Renewable Energy Certificate. You guys can look at this as some form of digital asset that's produced by your PV system, completely separate from the cell back itself. So what RECs are is something that's created by your PV system, and it can be sold to MMCs who require it to go green. For example, they need it to lower the carbon tax credits, the tax rates and everything. So we will help, or some companies will help people register for these assets and then sell it back, and then ultimately will pass on the proceeds to the homeowner or to the owner of the PV system itself. So how do you be eligible for REC credits? Is you own a PV system. The payments are made every Jan to March from our company itself, and we're pricing them about $45 per REC. So for example, my previous client's house is about 23 kilowatt peak system. We are going to give that client 23 times $45 each year, which is about $1,000 over dollars. So finally, if I were to factor all these ways that you guys are going to put into lowering your ROI, we can see a vast difference from the base bill savings, about $5,000 a year, with that minimal lifestyle switch for using more solar energy during the day. That's another $240 of change. And on top of that, you guys do the REC registration. At the end of the year, you are able to save up to $6,304. And now we redo the ROI. A $23,000 500 system cost with an annual return of $6,300. You are cutting that down from 4.7 years to 3.73 years. That's almost 1 whole year off your ROI. So just doing this minimal stuff, registering for your solar, it can make a huge difference in your return on investment when you look at it at the investment standpoint of view. So I just want to end off this talk with a question that in the beginning I used to get a lot of, which is, why should I go solar? To me personally, solar is an investment, but solar is an investment that I have control over. When I say control, it means that I can do whatever I want with the solar energy generated. I bought the PV system. The energy generated is there. If I want to make money off of my PV system, I can just turn off everything during the day. I can rack up the excess credits. I can request SP at the end of the year to pay me out in cash via gyro. I can do that. If money is not the focus, I want to have a better standard of living. I want to have aircon turn on all day. Singapore is so hot. I want to turn on fan, light, everything. I want to have a better life. I can do that as well. At the end of the day, the solar energy generated from the PV system is yours to choose what you want to do with it. The freedom is yours. And that's what makes solar panels such a viable investment, because the choice is yours. You can use it, you can sell it, you can save it. The choice is yours. Thank you. Now I'll be opening up the floor to just some questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Or was that a very comprehensive?
What's the average maintenance cost?
Oh, yes.
You mentioned twice a year.
Okay, so maintenance-wise, we always recommend once every 2 years. And it actually depends on the system size. Because the bigger the system, we have to do a bit more work. We have to clean the panels. We have to check on the cables. We have to check on the inverter itself. But generally, maintenance is not a big issue because we can actually monitor everything through a monitoring app. If there's any issues with the system, there are some fast and quick ways for you to go and rectify the system by yourself even. But of course, if you guys can't do it yourself, reach out to us. We will actually send someone down to help you fix it within the week.
Placed on the roof.
Yes, it's placed on the roof.
So with Singapore weather, the lakes and all that, so this on top of the roof, or we have a gap between the roof on top of it. How does it work?
So there is, if what you're asking is there a gap between the solar panel and the roof? There is. So if you're looking at it at that way, it does reduce the ambient temperature of your house by a few degrees, because there's a gap in between the panels and your roof itself to let air flow.
But if I have a roof leak, then it's going to be more cumbersome because you have to remove the panel, then you have to fix the roof.
That is correct also. But we like to say metal roof. If your house is a metal roof, we don't really experience a lot of leakages. If it's an RC roof, which is concrete roof, we also don't really experience a lot of leakages. Yeah. Only tile ones are the ones that are the problematic ones. So we need to be a bit more meticulous.
To do that, my contractor will have, or someone will have to be an expertise to remove the panel,
Correct.
remove the roof,
Correct.
that's additional cost because now we have to remove the panel.
So how we work is that if the leakage is found to be done by us, we will definitely come and rectify it. even if it means sending guys down to remove the solar panels to let your waterproofer work on it, we do supply the man for that to do a removal, and also in the end come back and place back the solar panels. Yes.
Just the weather of Singapore, because last year
It
a
is.
lot of rain caused a lot of leakage.
Yeah, we actually, to be honest with everyone, we have experience with the tile roofs itself. Yeah. Any questions so far from anyone else? Then I think thank you for your time. If you guys actually want to process a bit more and you guys have questions after this, you'll find my guys. We are at the back over there. I think we'll be more than happy to help you answer a lot of your questions. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Daryl. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.